at the tip of your fingertips. You can change everything so that you are the wizard behind the screen.
Hi, I'm Russ, and this is the Memory Makers Podcast, the show that helps you create amazing customer experiences and make more memories. And I am joined by Nate Murray from Delta Strike. Nate, how are you, brother?
Hey, Russ. I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Man, it's so excited to have you here. We're at Amusement 360 right now, but it's been such a great opportunity for us to get some of these different episodes with our partners and with operators and everything. And you and I did a panel discussion earlier today, and I really enjoyed that conversation. So I wanted us to kind of take that and run with it a little bit. But, you had recently joined into the FEC world and the industry, and I'm curious to see, what has really struck you the most as you've come into this, whether it's the people or the technology or the approaches. Like, what have been your favorite things of getting into the industry so far?
Yeah, all the above, D. No, everybody's been great. It's been really a wonderful sphere to roll into. Coming from my background's kind of in the car wash industry, right? So there's a lot of cutthroat things going on in that industry where you roll into here, and at the end of the day, everybody just wants you to be successful.
Yeah.
So, we'll have meetings with competitors, and everybody is just as helpful as they can be and go above and beyond. So everybody has been wonderful that I've interacted with it, whether it's competitors or vendors, customers, exhibitors alike. Everybody's been great. So that's been awesome. The technology, watching the technology advance from, the time that I was a youth really invigorated into like the FEC world is really cool to see how far everything has come. And even as an adult, to keep me coming back to venues as an adult is really awesome and unique as well. Seeing everything coming out, all of the new attractions that are coming out, and all the little tweaks that people are making to current attractions too is also interesting.
Yeah, well, it's interesting too. Like, one of the things that I love about laser tag specifically is, that was invented back in the 1978, early 1980s, as it really started to get more streamlined and mainstream. But that's something where it starts off as this, kind of high-tech dodgeball iteration. But now when we're pulling in things from, popular game theory, like, hey, this is something that's really cool in Fortnite. Like, we should start to do that with our interactivity, like how we're changing the different styles of game. So that way it's still something relevant, for a gamer or for, it also has that, like, that story-driven, that social aspect and immersive nature to it that I feel like it's still got so much more to grow into as technology progresses.
Oh yeah, the experiences that people can achieve now in this industry is unreal.
Yeah.
I went and visited a couple of FECs down south just recently, and the level of entry from one experience to another is mind-blowing. You're walking into an outer space briefing room, and then a garage door opens up. When you're finished with the video, smoke billows out, and you're instantly transformed into this universe that is definitely unlike anything that I experienced when I was playing laser tag in my youth. You know? So it's exciting that the increase in technology has really put operating at your fingertips. There are so many more capabilities now. And then, like you said, just enhancing the experience, gamifying everything, taking those small tweaks that we see from those larger platforms that people are playing, like Fortnite and those other games on, and taking those small things, achievements, avatar creation, and really personalizing your experience is something very unique and new to the industry as well.
I definitely agree with that. I think when you look at, especially over the last 8 years or even further back, where you've got this, the mobile app games, and there was something that really unlocked new things that we can even take from an experience like that of, hey, how do we get the sense of, I can rank up if I'm new to this or haven't done a ton of it, like, how can I get a little bit of that Pavlovian response of, and sense of achievement of unlocking something that wasn't previously available. And sometimes that can be done with, memberships or really a core niche player. But it's even certain things like on the Delta Strike, equipment side, like, okay, we're going to do this game mode. And as you play, if you're, playing really well, you're going to unlock, power-ups and different things that you can do. Or taking, the different immersive targets and blending that into prop work so that way it's you're playing against the arena itself. Like, how do we elevate what that level of the experience can be? But some of it's also, I feel like, coming down to just how operators are starting to structure their game format. So for like the longest time, we would have this situation where, hey, you're going to either run 4 games an hour and they're going to be running on the, on the hour, the 15, the half hour, and 45, and kind of step and repeat that. And there's still a lot of validity to that when you're in your peak birthday times and you're at your heaviest traffic because you need that throughput and capacity. But where I've really been excited to see is people tinkering around with different styles of games. So, hey, yes, it's a team game, but it's got these level of enhancements to it, like a Domination or King of the Hill or some of those even Battle Royale formats, like what you see with Fortnite and things, where now we've got so many different offerings and styles of games that the staff can utilize those to keep it fresh for them. But you can also use that to drive traffic to creating cooler experiences like, hey, Tuesdays, we're going to run a decathlon. So you come in, it's on, we're going to run unlimited games and mini tournaments and things like that where, hey, the first game's going to be this, then we're going to run a solo game and everything. So that way there's a variety. Like, there may be some groups that are really good as team players, but you may have this one guy who's just an assassin when it comes to the solo play. So now almost curating programming by utilizing different game formats and using that as a way to create some unique and exclusive opportunities that drive traffic. And
100%. 100%. The, shameless plug here. The one thing that I absolutely love about Delta Strike is the mindset of creating a business out of the business.
Yeah.
And when I listen to you talk about manipulating gameplay, manipulating the games that are being played, manipulating throughput times, manipulating the behavior and actions of operators, really is what you want as this curator for your location. To not only enable your employees, but what you're really doing is you're creating much better guest experiences through all that. If, I was discussing earlier with someone, if you have a huge queue line of people waiting to play, you can instantly, using one operator, smart operator, you can change and manipulate your gameplay. You can manipulate game time. You can manipulate game style. You can manipulate teams, all to not only enhance the experience, but also to enhance your location's capabilities.
Yeah.
And that is really huge. To be able to operate an attraction and not take away your operator's ability to really understand the whole scope of the operation and really eliminate what I like to call tunnel vision. A lot of people, when they get really involved with something specific, they get tunnel vision and everything else that's ancillary is out of the photo. But now at the tip of your fingertips, you can change everything so that you are the wizard behind the screen, right?
100%. Well, and it's even, again, where can we tweak this to where there's still a really good value? So it may be something like, hey, this $10 gets you a 15-minute experience, but within that experience, it may be for like 3-4 minute games. So it's just a totally different operational tempo where now we can give you a little bit of a sampler platter of some different styles of game. It's not disrupting. You're still able to run the trains on time as far as one core group running into the next. And so that way nobody feels like the experience has been cheapened. But to your point, like now we just gave them like essentially 3 games within a single session to where that can be something that's different. It works for younger people's attention spans. Like there's so many different ways that you can adjust and meet the customer where they are, where it's like, hey, the big kind of block variables of how we need this to flow and get people through is one thing, but how do we create that and add some new zest and seasonings within it? And there's so many different, to your point, like ways that we can manipulate and change that. And we don't use that in a bad way, but like, hey, how do we just tinker and experiment with this to keep it fresh, both for the guests and for us? Because there are some locations, you know, if you're doing an unlimited free play, okay, well, I don't need to run 10-minute games and have it be a 15-minute experience. I need them to feel like they're getting as much for that value as they possibly can.
Sure.
Or I want to create a 30-minute experience for them, and we're going to run, you know, a slew of different games just so that way they can, you know, scratch the itch or find, you know, news like, oh my gosh, I really love this. And next time when I'm coming back, like, it also lets you kind of do some field testing of what do our guests really like and which different things. So I feel like one of the best things I've seen a lot of operators start to do is like, okay, yes, this is the way that it's always been done, and there are times where that's appropriate. However, like, if it's always going to be the same thing, if they come a couple of times a year or 3 or 4 times a year, well, the second year, it's going to feel like it's the same old, same old.
It gets stale.
Yeah. So we've got to look at ways of changing things up to make sure that, you know, you talk to arcade vendors and things, and they'll say, gosh, you can have a huge impact on the performance of your game room simply by moving games around. And all of a sudden, if it's a drastic enough change, people think you've completely redone the room and added all these new games. Well, no, you're just breaking up the monotony of what it has been for them to that point. So it's like putting a new cell phone cover on your phone. You're like, oh, this is so new and snazzy. It's not, but it's a low lift that can have a huge emotional impact on how they perceive it.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's almost one size almost fits all, but then we've turned it into a one size fits everything.
Yeah.
Right. And so whether you can run 4-minute games, you can run 10-minute games,
right.
You can run, you know, an all day tournament if you'd like to do that. Just a marathon.
Yeah.
If you want to put people through that.
Yeah.
If people want to put themselves through that, I guess is really the question. But yeah, I mean, it's incredible the amount of things the amount of variables that you can control now. And it's really interesting because coming from kind of a business background, if I'm looking at different variables that I can change to increase, you know, let's say my revenue per guest or per cap, I think is what a lot of people call it. And so what you can do is you can take that same mindset, and with all the data integration that we have now, you can look exactly and see how much time was played per game, how many people played per game, how many games you played per hour, how many games you played per week, how many minutes each piece of equipment was ran through.
Right.
So you can take those tools and that ideology that you have for your standard business practices and use those for this particular attraction.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of attractions that people will add that don't have quite yet. They'll get there. They'll get that technology soon, but don't quite have it yet. And I think that's just one leg up that the laser tag industry has
big time
in the FEC world.
Yeah. And I think that ultimately it's, you know, there's different people are going to have, you know, kind of their love language or where they anticipate some of that going. But it's like, okay, but if you're not aware of all the different things and you're not keeping up on what some of that is, it's really easy to feel like, okay, well, there's nothing really new or there hasn't been a lot of stuff with that. So one of the things that I really enjoy and you know, in our industry, even within the laser tag experience, it's like to what you were talking about earlier. Well, hey, if we want to have this cinematic cutscene like what you see in a Call of Duty piece, you know, and make that like what the briefing experience is, how do we have we have this ability to have some huge emotional levers that we can pull that just help folks connect to the game all that much more. And then when we have more variety in the game style and the play and everything, then they feel like it's more bespoke and custom to them. And ultimately that's just okay, well, you know, is this a you know, Italian club? Great, but I may want to have this extra little bit of seasoning on it or that, you know, that extra condiment to where now I have it exactly the way that I want it as a guest. And you, as an operator, I'm not having to reinvent the wheel in order to get to that point. And so it's still scalable, you know, from that perspective. And so as we do these types of events, I always love just seeing what folks out in the field are doing and how they're trying to change that. And it's just so fun because we get to learn, you know, just as much from the operators as being able to try and see what we think is also going to be a big needle mover for them.
Yeah, no, I think Amusement 360 is great. It allows you the opportunity to kind of gauge where people are in the industry, especially people coming into the industry. So that's really cool to see. That's probably one of my favorite things so far, especially being here, is really understanding where people are in their personal journey in the industry. And it's cool getting to watch the different levels. Some people are just starting, some people are launching, some people launch next week, right? So they're trying to figure out, you know, how do I manage labor costs?
Right.
What ingredients should I put on my pizza? Right. So there's so many different aspects of it all together. It's really exciting to see, and it's really great that you guys are able to put all of these people together. I mean, you guys have really done a great job here. It's absolutely amazing.
I love it. Well, we have a ton of fun doing it, and we get just as much out of it because it's, again, so much of the power of this event is the people coming together and sharing what their experiences are and coming at things with an open hand and an open heart. And it's so special to our industry. It's not prevalent in a lot of other industries. And so, you know, for those that are looking to get into this, man, I'm ruined for any future things because I just can't be in a place where that's now not going to be.
I don't disagree.
So,
I don't disagree.
I love it. Well, hey, man, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate the time for us to be able to geek out a little bit on the latest and greatest. And thank you all for joining us. If there's anything that you'd like to see in upcoming episodes, we'd love to get your feedback for that. Please let us know any topics or guests and things like that we should be diving into. If you liked what you heard, give us that 5-star review, please, and thank you. And we'll catch you on the next one, Troublemakers.